A very warm good evening to everyone. On behalf of HNM FoodPro Academy, today I will like to welcome you all to our fourth webinar. Today's session will be presented by Dr. Navneet S. Deora. He has over 10 years of experience in food industries and focuses on novel food development and food innovations. He is at the forefront of developing sustainable solution in alternative protein space. With this brief introduction, I would like to welcome Dr. Navneet to begin his session and enlighten us with his knowledge. Thank you, sir. And you can please begin your question.
Sir, am I audible? And the screen is visible?
Yes, you are audible. Yes.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Mishra sir, for giving this nice platform, at least to discuss some of this beautiful topic, both in the space of entrepreneurship and startup, particularly linked to food processing. So, thank you for allowing me to speak on this kind of topic. And to all the members of this FTCL community and this FTCL Pro Academy, basically, in particular, to taking time to listen to it. But the topic was very interesting in terms of entrepreneurship and startup. But before I begin, I just wanted to understand. Anybody can join in to let me know what's the difference between entrepreneurship and startup, and just help me with one basic thing. Whatever Mishra sir has started, this Pro Academy, whether it's an entrepreneurship or a startup. Anybody who wants to answer, basically, because there were two terms in this particular webinar. Or both are same, kind of, whatever you may want to express your thoughts.
Audience may open your video or audio and respond to Dr. Navneet.
Yeah, whatever you feel like. So it's a fantastic because these are all both interchangeable words. Entrepreneurship करना है मुझे, फिर मुझे startup करना है. Kind of those things keep floating among everyone during their period of discussion. But if not, what basic understanding, or maybe to bring further brief, can I say this statement? All startups are entrepreneurship, but not all entrepreneurship ventures are startup. Does this point make sense to everyone, or is there some kind of an ambiguity among it? Because both are not same, but yes, entrepreneurship has all the components of startup.
Some Miss Deepa says he has written, startup is funded, entrepreneurship is self-financed.
That could be one great point, actually. Right, sir. Startup is something like it's like sprouting something. And we sprout a seed and then it grows into a full-fledged plant. And where there is, and for to grow that seed, we need immediate kind of a lot of fundings and ideas. But that has to be in a scale-up fashion. But entrepreneurship could be a more traditional way of working on your concepts and ideas, but not looking at immediate scale-up options. It could be, let's say, you have some ambition to teach others, so that could be within the villages. So that bigger objective could be an entrepreneurship pathway in which you have taken up. But say, for example, these big baskets and quick service and e-commerce platform in which food are sold, those are basically ventures which are purely and startup ventures, where we seek some kind of immediate growth, where there is an idea that leads to scalable options. So kind of these are some basic fundamental difference and if I need to bring further breakdown into entrepreneurship and startups, maybe you can add your points. Is we seek in entrepreneurship, there is a broader mindset And entrepreneurship ventures kind of aimed at rapid growth and innovations. Startups could be temporary and scalable, while traditional entrepreneurship can be stable and long term. Something like Haldiram that has been in inception since many years or decades. These are the good example of somebody who has ventured into entrepreneurship space. Food entrepreneurship, just to take some examples, could be Haldirams, Monjani's, MTR, kind of these, just giving you some broader type of examples where we call this as an entrepreneurship. We don't call it as a startup in very specific school of thought. But once you talk about startups, you will have few things which are common. Is like a very extreme level of innovation is there, which you have created by your understanding of particular subject. And once you create that innovation, you see a big demand or gap in the market which you can fulfill through this innovation, and that leads to high growth. So that is what few of the startups, or once we call it this kind of innovation as a startup. Say for example, Swiggy and Zomato. That is what Mishra sir was referring to during our initial talk for 5 minutes before the start of this discussion. Let's say there are lot of let's say there are a lot of ingredients or very specific ingredient that you have isolated and that you can extract and scale it up either in form of capsules, powders, or any of your other food delivery medium, which has direct relationship between your moods and reflexes in your brain. So that particular innovations, if you could complete it and then develop an app which can integrate multiple doctors or psychiatrists or anybody involved into this human mind interaction, and then basically through that app you can pass on or recommend which kind of food, which kind of supplements you can use to eliminate those kind of mood reflexes. So that becomes an app based, which can be highly scalable and which can be tech driven. So that kind of concept, which few minutes like Mishra sir was referring to, would be a very good example of food startups. But to develop those, you need good amount of funding, which somebody told over the messaging, right? So that is particularly a beautiful example where we can think of something which is, but always think of about high scalability. And high scalability often comes with the use of technology. So that's why it's scalability and tech always coincide with each other rather than are two separate domain. They always are interlinked. So anybody who wants to experience any kind of startup in any kind of platform should have access to a good amount of funding. Funding can happen through equity investors, or there are multiple avenues in which we can do that. And of course, you should have deep understanding of tech-driven concepts, and of course, the app-based concept. So in the food, we have food delivery like Swiggy and Zomato, which are good examples of startups. Cloud Kitchen, which is something which delivers a food, kind of rebel foods by the brand Fasos and Behruz Biryanis. These are also very good examples of startups. Health and organic foods, Fresh to Home and Organic India. Epigamy and Yoga Bar, if you can see, Yoga Bar has now been acquired by ITC. But those were at that time when they were launched, were innovative products and targeted only at niche customers who were looking at some kind of a protein delivery. Or food tech platforms like Licious and Inner Chef, although they deliver food at your warehouse, something like Domino's deliver pizzas at your home store whenever you are craving for this kind of food. But technically speaking, Domino's or Inner Chef or Licious, these are not food companies per se. These are food tech companies, or these are food tech platforms that allows you to deliver food through the tech-based and scalable option. So that is something you need to kind of look at gaps wherever is there in Indian population or globally also, which are not enabled through tech. So that is That is the most difficult part for any kind of startups. You look at the gap, and that gap has a lot of demand. So once you fill up that gap, you are sure to get good amount of customers who would be using your services to kind of meet their requirements. So those things are something which anybody who wants to seek some kind of startup revolution within themselves should seek. What is the current gap, and try to enable the tech to fill that gap. If your intent idea is to deliver some kind of food product, so those things are always there. Kind of could be you can find out the gap through any of the channels, like India being the diabetic capital of the world. So are there certain things which I can enable through tech in a normal platform that can deliver, or that can basically manage diabetes through the food ingredient medium? So that is also something which we can always think of, plan of. So these are very long term exercises, but still there are a lot of gaps in terms of or capturing the lifestyle of a particular person since his birth till his death through a tech based application also, and then integrating right kind of food stuff to balance it. So there are many options, at least in the area of food and health, where we can always use tech and scale it high and look for broader funding. Just to talk about few other things like Swiggy, I think everybody understands as of now. It's a food delivery startup, so it's not a food manufacturing company. It just gives you a platform, just like Ola and Uber, to book your food, and then it integrates with any of the touch points who are ready to be on their platform, and then that's how they kind of run their business. So this was the biggest gap while they opened up an Indian system, where there was a big gap where there was no app where we can deliver food uh, uh, from a specific restaurant and kind of understand. So that gap was kind of captured by Swiggy, and then that is how, and there was a lot of demand for that. That is how it became a big success, and lot of top investors like Nespresso, SoftBank, DST, Global, others kind of raised billions and billions of dollars. And at its peak, it reached around 10 to 11 billion dollar. That is its valuation. And subsequently, after 10 years of hard work, let's say in the after a decade, in 2024, the first major, I would say, a milestone for any company is to they have become such a big thing that they filed for an IPO. And then basically Big Basket is another example which started nothing but an online grocery and food grocery, and then one of the India's biggest e-grocery player it became, kind of. It was different from Swiggy, but that was a gap. There was nothing to deliver grocery to Indian store, kind of. So that app basically enabled everyone to pick from a border area where everybody needs something. So in a similar space, we can always think of an app which is very specific to, let's say, disease or anything for which people look for some kind of a solution. But that is something that could be some ideas in which we can work upon. And then Rebel Food, if you are fan of eating biryani is another thing, you will find this kind of example. Yoga Bar, where there was some kind of an health gap within the Indian ecosystem. That's how they raised $11.6 million in Series A funding. And in 2023, a major conglomerate that is like Yoga Bar was kind of the stake was something around 175 crore acquisition that happened. Wow Momo also was a very Momos was something which was picked up from the street food concept, but they made it into a quick service restaurant startup. So any regional food you feel has an scalable option can be converted into a Wow Momo example. So they began with a very small capital, and over the years scaled to many outlets across India. And the valuation was somewhere around US $270 million. And that's how they grew their business and with the investment and scaled it very fast. So scaling at a rapid pace with a lot of investment can be one of the few examples where startups are known to have rather than an entrepreneurship domain. So these stories in cumulation, they kind of addresses few things which everyone should keep in mind. Don't consider, you might sit down with one idea which you feel has no takers, but that is the first wrong thing which everyone does. Even if whatever your ideas you might sound as stupid as possible, there could be a bigger takers for that. So never let your ideas fall into the junkyards. Always capitalize on it, because startups definitely have a capacity to attract large scale VC and PE fundings, rather than just taking a small bank loans or personal using your personal capital. So any ideas, even if you have idea which is not even which is only conceptualized on paper, but if you have some basis for that idea which has some gaps, definitely even to start any work on that idea, you can definitely get funding. It is a big kind of an, I would say, misconception ki as an individual, if you have not worked on something, you're not kind of delivered that product in hand, showed its growth across doing some kind of a market study, you can't get funding. So that is the biggest misconception. Something like any good idea also you have, and you have done absolutely zero groundwork to convert that idea into the physical form. In that stage also you can attract lot many venture capitalists or private equity fund managers who are ready to invest on an idea and check it whether it can work it at a scalable level or not. So that is something you should always keep into mind. But other ways also, once you have an idea, just record that idea, try to work on developing some prototypes around it, if it's a food product or any of a tech based idea. And then also you can reach to multiple places where you can seek second growth fund instead of utilizing your own capital funds. So these stories definitely shows us that India can attract large amount of capital funds, and the funding is not limited to only one domain. Across different platforms, diverse food startup models have received investment. We need not be into the domain where people are getting investment. You can be in any other domain where you think your ideas can work up, and then there could be a private forum in which we can discuss where ideas can find takers. So the important thing is for a startup, your ideas should find some takers for next level growth across whatever you feel like. Third thing is ki whenever the investors come in, even if your revenue is not growing, but the idea is very unique to its domain, the valuation of the company keeps increasing with time, from 100 millions to in fact multiple billions. So what happens when valuation increases? It increases the investor confidence that these ideas can be scaled up and it has a long-term growth potential. So what happens then? At this stage, normally what happens, larger companies, I cited Yoga Bar because it was bought by ITC, but even if you take Nestle and all other companies across the world, at this stage they try to acquire, in fact, all these smaller companies. So that is also another way in which you can encash your startup by, let's say, working for 5 to 10 years in some certain ideas, increasing the valuation to certain level, and then mergers mean you become part of that company by some kind of a legal agreement, Or let's say if you have 100% stake in the company, you give certain percentage of stake to the larger companies. So there are multiple ways in which you can kind of exit your kind of startup, and then from the funding whatever you receive, you can start another startup. It is just like a chain of reaction. But the story shows ki food tech plus delivery plus the bundle of convenience, that is what that resonates with customer. So if three things are kind of enabled in your solution, it automatically translates into rapid growth and expansion across cities. So this is just one trend, but it is not limited to this trend. You can come with any of the wild ideas, because what I've seen is ki no idea is a bad idea. Mostly the execution part is something that most of us lack. So if you can execute it in the right way, any ideas could be brought to a little bit of justice in terms of scaling it up. And interest across investors is not just in food tech or cloud kitchens. There are multiple capital which are being invested into other functional foods. Plant based could be one of it, but the health and nutrition and other things are coming up. If you have recently taken the example of in Indian context, Ranveer Singh also had this interesting product. He is the brand manager of that product, some kind of a protein bar by the brand name Super U. Within a year, they use nothing but yeast protein as their marketing point. But the tech and marketing was so fantastic, they could scale it up from in 0 to 1 year to approximately 100 crores. So that's the difficult part, but that is how with a good amount of marketing they can raise up. And even the relatively small or medium-sized startups can raise meaningful rounds if they tap into trends. So you need to capture what is the current trend in the market, and you need to fit in your concept into some gaps where nobody has worked upon, or even if they have worked upon, there are more customer waiting for some other alternative solution, and that could be kind of the way in which we all can work. And one of the hottest topic, at least, which will continue to be in another 5 to 10 years or more than that, is food and agri food tech sector. So that's a very big segment which further expands into the agriculture side of the food, where we are missing on a lot of where basically there are a lot of gaps where technology can fill in, and we can generate good kind of attraction to meet the demand. So this is something food and agri food tech sector still is a very broader topic in which multiple discussion can happen, and multiple gaps are there to fill in. And if you talk about last 2 years, kind of to be very specific, because that gives you a jump start of something which you can look at 2026 and beyond, are uh, are the same thing. They're not looking at food tech, deliveries, and cloud chicken, but all those snacks, health and nutrition, functional food, and plant-based foods. And QSRs and traditional foods are still hot. And so traditional food, and when I say it's a very broader topic, it doesn't only includes um, the things which you see within your space, but there I think there could be more than 500 more or more traditional food products uh, across all our different states that has some option of scalability, and for which there is no other QSR chain. So anybody can capture that part and bring that particular state food across the QSR chain, which can definitely attract some kind of a serious investment. Food quality plus strong branding plus rapid expansion plans can attract investors. And for the medium size, the health foods, convenience food, and protein-rich snacks always come with good amount of meaningful funding rounds. And as I told earlier, the food and agri-food tech sector that is surging and basically has enough momentum to develop more and more startups in this field, because there are a lot of gaps in this particular space. And diverse business model also has a big opportunity. So 2025 shows about food startup trends is the thing which I have just covered in specific. So these are few insights where I would like to draw some attention. You don't have to worry about whatever ideas you have, but you need a right platform to kind of expand those ideas to a meaningful platform. So don't throw your ideas. Whatever ideas you have, either discuss with somebody with whom you trust, and then you can opt for. But before doing any of those things, at least what I understand is key doing a business will, the first step will be kind of course ideas and everything will come back, but the business happens once you kind of incorporate a company. So there is another legal structure within India or any of the world. So any business you want to do, so accountancy is something which, or financial understanding is something which is more critical. And opening a company, basically, in what form you need to open is also another critical element. So idea is one thing where you can do, but how will you run your business if you don't have a basic understanding of accounting, reading the balance sheet, understanding all the laws of the companies around it? How does the business work across different states, different countries? If you are in an import export system, if you are in tech system, how do you safeguard your tech? So the legal part of the business, so all those things are something which is, I would assume, more critical if you want to start up your own startup by registering a company. So that takes good amount of time for anyone to understand. If you don't invest into those kind of understanding in terms of the legal financial nature of the business, I would assume ki you are swimming in a water without getting trained. So you as a proper swimmer, and you are forced to drown. So the ideas are just one pillar. Other bigger pillar is understanding the entire financial ecosystem of the companies. So that is also something which everyone should pay equal attention to it. Otherwise, you will never be able to scale your business or understand the part. I would assume the legal part, the financial part, both the things any of the startup seekers should invest their time into. So next slide just talks about very basic things. The companies are not just private limited. Uh, just try to list down 23 ways in which you can list your companies. And under the broad segment of based on liabilities, based on public liabilities, there are some options where you can have one person company. You can have an option where there is an ownership based companies. You have certain options where you can have a liability structure based companies. You can have a, based on number of people, you can have a small company, private company, where paid up capital is less than 4 crore, over 400, or turnover is less than 40 crores. Not for profit organizations, that is something which is more into where you seek more social, your ideas are based on more social cause, and you're not seeking any kind of profit into it. And very specific types like holding controls and subsidiary companies, associated companies, and producers companies. And then there are companies where you want to kind of integrate, let's say I want to start some companies which is not based in India, but which are based in Dubai or any of the other foreign countries. So those things come under the foreign company structures. And then there are certain ways in which you have heard of LLP, is the limited liability partnership. If you open a company in US, that is normally called as LLC. So just giving you a broad perspective of those understanding which you should develop, and try to see which is the best form in which I can under what category I should start my company, because any category will come with lot of legal requirement as such, and the complexities of Indian companies are enormous in terms of the real life complexities. And that's when such certain kinds of app, I don't know whether you heard of Zoho, is a good example of a startup which created a model. So those kind of apps definitely help you. Zoho, Odo, or many other apps where we can track any kind of a financial kind of a transaction within your company. So my point is, in a very basic nutshell, is that ideas are great to work upon, but that becomes just 50% of your success stories. Another 50% of success stories will come only when you understand or you have a complete understanding of the finance of the company, and accountancy of the company, and how you and the legal nature of the company. If you break this three part, then you are kind of turning yourself into a disaster. So without elementary understanding of this thing, never try to kind of, I would say, open a company. It's always good to do your homework and then start a company. So these are something which I just wanted to broadly discuss in this very specific topic of subject. But I am free to kind of anybody who wants to express their own ideas and kind of discuss something which I can contribute, something I'll be more than happy to discuss.
Good. Very interesting points have been
Hello,
brought up.
sir.
Yes.
But anybody has any ideas, and so what I can help you is to connect you with the right investors, connect you to the help you with the legal part of the company, financial part of the company, or any other thing that can help you to further scale up your ideas. So
Hello, sir. This is
anything you have in
Deepa.
your
Good
mind
evening.
which you want to scale up, let me know.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah. Hi, sir. Uh, so it's like I just want to introduce a product in the market, like fortified food or enriched food. Because basically, you have a lot of fortified and enriched foods. But
Correct.
can you just show me some insights on how you can go about? Because the market now for nutraceutical and functional foods is like pumping like anything now. People are
Correct.
like organic is in one way, but on the other hand, people are trying to uh, merge organic with functional and nutraceutical foods. Can you just give me some pointers on the following?
See, so one way of doing this business is ki, uh, you can connect to multiple manufacturers who are already doing it for other food industries through the job work. But I don't know whether you have heard of some example of one of the product which is called as Threptin. Threptin, you understand Threptin? It's a
Yeah, the biscuit type, the
yeah.
trypsin.
These are called as protein biscuits. So these are normally formed the way capsules are made. So I remember long back, Mishra sir made some oat milk capsules through the punching mechanism. So that is that space is still limited to the medical store. But with the same mechanism, even without baking, you can introduce a delivery format and go into the FMCG segment. That gives you a very convenient form of delivery. So in that space, you can always tie up with multiple nutraceutical companies, and I can help you to tie up with few companies who can help you to scale your products. And they have all the licenses with the nutraceutical companies. So if you have certain ideas where you want to launch your company, I can connect you to the right partners. I know somebody in Ahmedabad. There are a lot of pharmaceutical companies in Ahmedabad where definitely they can help you to scale your product.
Sir, thank you for the wonderful information.
Correct, correct. But it's just an example I'm giving. There are thousands of such examples where the concept of nutraceuticals and pharma can transform into we can narrow it down to, we can expand it to the food industry. Earlier, the reverse used to happen, and the concept of food definitely used to enrich and go into the pharma. I'm just talking about the reverse thing where, let's say, Mishra sir told about this mood reflexes. So maybe there could be many nutraceutical or pharmaceutical company who are already working on this domain. Uh, when I listen to Mishra sir, he says ki we can always bring that into the food domain. So that is also an interesting concept where we revert back that pharma market to the food market. That is also an interesting concept, and which is a scalable format and which can be done.
I think Ms. Deepa, would you like to elaborate if anything you have in your mind is specific where you
No,
want?
sir. I'm just working on my PhD as a product. So maybe
Okay,
if I am done with all the things and my testings are done, like maybe the next step of my progress is what actually brought me here. So that's why I had like sir was insisting any ideas. So that's when
that's
I
great.
had to discuss this stuff.
What is
No,
that?
but
What is
whenever you
your
need
area?
people, you can always scale it up,
Yeah.
and you can export to any of the countries. That is not a difficult thing as such. So all the licenses, all the technical framework, legal framework, even the clinical trials to support that, anything can be done at least. Industry is still quite robust in those space.
What is the
So
area of your PhD? Yeah, PhD work.
my area is on diabetology.
Order?
Diabetology. I'm working on a functional food for diabetes.
Oh, great, great. That itself has a lot of potential. It will have lot of potential in India.
Yeah,
Only thing is,
as simple as sir, as simple as the methi
yeah,
seeds.
yes,
So basically, the galactomannan in methi seeds are kind of a soluble dietary fiber, which has enough role in your glucose metabolism in the body. So
yeah,
that could be one of the space in which you can always work. But you can always get into the clinical trials. But are you working on food product or are you working on ingredient? That is more important. What I feel ki as a food player, we should work on ingredient and then scale up the technology for extracting that ingredient and then basically give that ingredient to multiple industries who can put the claim, and that is how you can scale up your business rather than being into the space of consumer, being into the space of B2B business. So that is something we can always do, kind of, which is more a long-term and stable form of a business where
It
you
is
won't be
like
dependent
a
on your food.
camouflage of all that you say, sir. Not a like it is a food product, but a camouflage of all the criterias that you say. A simple product cannot be like nowadays. It cannot be scalable. So there has to be a lot of complexity in the product, but then the result should be simple. The product should be
Yeah, but
complex. Yeah.
correct, correct. But what you can do is ki, among whatever your food product, there would be some active ingredient that would be helping you for the control of diabetes. If that ingredient you can basically extract and purify it to certain standard, that could be one of the product to sell across multiple products. So, but that could be even the food product also which you are working on.
Yeah, sir. I'm just working on the bioactive components of various ingredients. So that is basically my goal now.
great,
As
great.
of now,
Very,
my objective.
very novel idea. You can be in touch. You
Correct.
write to Navneet, or even you can write to us at HNM FoodPro Academy as well. We will definitely be with you. We will help you in your endeavor. That's great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other participant, if there is any point, someone want to discuss anything, I'm sure.
Hello,
that- Yes, Madhuresh Dwivedi, I think. Haan, please.
sir.
Batao.
Actually, how to approach the companies, sir? Like we have products, like multiple products we are making, but we are failing to reach to the proper. Like, say, if I have I have fortified food or a product is ready with me, but how to approach a company that no to market or to take the technology transfer kind of thing? How we can do that thing, and
Navneet,
why
would you like
companies
to?
are not
Yeah, yeah.
replying?
Yes, 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 sure. Navneet,
So yeah, but I think see, in any of the FMCG business, uh, food if you divide percentage of business, making a food product is just 10% of your business. 90% goes into the marketing and sales organization. So that is something which is which has maximum kind of an investment if you want to market a product. But if you have a concept which is kind of very well established, then definitely the first forum would be to seek some investors who are ready to build up some budget for this sales and marketing for your product, because that in fact a small TV ad can cost you somewhere getting a celebrity on food can get you somewhere around 5 to 6 crores. Even for I'm just giving you the numbers, you know, even a 5-second ad can cost you 30-40 lakhs. I'm just talking about the budgets in the marketing and the sales. So these are very heavy budgeting things which doesn't come up immediately. But if there is a proven product which has a lot of gaps in the market, then definitely some investors can be thought of to bring in. But otherwise, the e-commerce and quick commerce forum is biggest platform for any of the startup to sell your product, which through which you can connect to thousands and millions of customers. So if you don't have any market sales budget or marketing budget, you have just one product. So finding a commercial vendor to produce it is not a problem. Anybody can produce for you. You only have to invest into the packaging and whatever the product formulation, and then you can list your product in all those e-commerce and quick commerce platform. So then through that, definitely you can always find the market to sell your product, or maybe or you can seek a local distributor who is ready to buy in your product on credit or debit, and then he can pass it on to multiple shops. But the first phase would be testing your product across consumer, whether there is a repeat purchase or not. But Madhuresh, any of those things you can always do, at least in a digital format. Any concept which you want to get it tested, if you don't have any marketing budget, Amazon also takes a lot of money for putting up the ads. It's not like Amazon doesn't take any money. So if you browse any of the browser, if some product is shown on the top, that means that they have been budgeted. So approximately companies can put anywhere between 5 lakhs to 5 crores per month to at least show their product on the top in the Amazon. So that there are kind of and lot of reviews also that many agencies does it. So everything is a budget to the company, but even if you want to test your product, there are a lot of platforms across which you can test your product.
In addition to that, Madhresh, like suppose like you are a R&D institution, you
Yes,
have
sir.
developed a technology, you have product, and you have tested it in your laboratory, and you find it. So now at this stage, I think you might be much interested to find a company who can manufacture your product.
Yes, sir.
You yourself manufacture, get some
Sir,
that is student
I
or
want to transfer the technology,
you
sir,
want to
TTV.
transfer, yeah, that's what I. So what that you have to again go in a what Navneet has already told that little advanced, but before that there must be some technology transfer cell in your institute as well. In the institute website, you can advertise your product in your laboratory website also, and also sometime with some sample you can find that suppose that is what type of product you have, so the product related industries or startup, so personal contact you need to make. Maybe there are Confederation of Indian Industries, CII, PICTI, and all those things. If you aim to go for a big manufacturing sector, big manufacturing houses, so you can have personal interactions with them, you can go to their meetings, or they organize meetings regularly. So means you have to advertise, you have to, there are now a lot of social media platforms where through which you can tell that yes, this is the technology you are having, and this has this is level 7, or what is the scale, at what stage this technology is where this can be directly, and I am sure that this must be patented first. So
Yes, sir.
And one more way where institute can do it is I've seen in few other institutes is ki they say for example they register one of the premises within their institute as a manufacturing. They get a manufacturing license. So
हाँ,
what happens, and you
also,
have all the facility to scale it to certain level.
हाँ,
So let's say you developed something, a product A. Now you invite multiple companies to
showcase
showcase
that.
it so that
You
anybody
showcase
who
your
likes
product. That's all.
can manufacture it within your institute itself, because you have a manufacturing license and all the equipment to make it, and then they can sell it to whatever places they want to sell it. So creating your own manufacturing setup within the institute is also a good example where you can translate your product to a scalable form. At least it can reach to the market.
Uh, or you can have your own manufacturing unit, or you just advertise and you have to find out some means to reach to the industry, that is particularly the concerned industry, and you show them that yes, this is, and main thing, important thing is that you have to convince the industry that yes, this is a valuable product for them, for the consumer, and there is a market for it. And if it is
Hmm.
done, definitely there will be a lot of takers.
And sir, participating into the major events which happens across the year in terms of food
Yeah, yes.
conferences where you put up your stall. It might take 1 or 2 lakhs to put up a stall, and then showcasing your product across multiple places like Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, where majorly the food industry comes and other food industry comes. So that is
Uh,
one of the best example where you'll find investors, you'll find food processing people who are looking for some scalable technologies that they can buy in. So in that way, but there used to be, so this is some of the marketing activity which the institute has to do. Some budget has to be taken from director, I believe, because they
that
will.
again, but
So yeah,
Navneet, even before that, like nowadays it has become very simple. Suppose you have your LinkedIn page,
correct, sir, correct,
you
correct.
have your Facebook page, Instagram page. On these pages also regularly you can advertise your product. That is, you look, I am having this, particularly LinkedIn becomes more appropriate platform for these things, and you advertise technology, and in that you can tag it to the different industries and even the owners of the industries and all those things. And this you can start the things, and then the chain will start and you will go. You can find out even some good people, those who can think. And nowadays there are a lot of angel investors as well. So if you can convince them, they can come and they can take your, if some of the investor has shown interest in your product, definitely it is done and you can find out
Because
some.
I remember, sir, 2 days back, I think Astha works for Caldic, this company.
Uh-huh.
So she, I think she was in Delhi, but she went to NIFTEM once.
Really?
NIFTEM has many places where many startups are developing their product and selling from the same institute.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
So in a similar way, I think any institute
Like in
can.
our IIT also, we have that agribusiness incubation foundation where we
Correct,
can
right,
incubate a startup, or even that science and technology, that step already there. So there are in NIT Rourkela also there are such platforms available.
but
And
that gives me another thought. Ki there is always a space for startup in this area only, where we
yes,
link whatever people are doing in university to the industry. So and any
Yes, yes,
startup
this
idea.
is required. Yes.
So maybe we'll try to do some startup, Madhuresh, in this area where we can
Yes,
yeah,
link
yes,
all
yes.
all the food.
This is actually required, sir. So like
So we'll
H&M Food
develop
Pro,
something. I'll discuss
H&M
with
Food
Mishra
Pro,
sir.
yes, sir.
So
H&M Food Pro can help us in this, sir. Like this
definitely.
can be a
Why not?
bridge between the technology, like
this
sir,
is a great.
NMDC and everything they are doing for government. So all the technologies can be like no from your portal they can be showcased and they can be like no sir. Transfer of technologies can be made easier, sir.
Sure,
What
sure,
we
sure,
thought.
Obviously,
sure.
I'll discuss with Mishra sir. Maybe next time we meet, we'll start a startup on this
Yes, yes,
area.
yes. I think you have given, Madhuresh, we have given a very good idea. Like we
Yes,
just
sir.
completed Foodathon. So now we
Yes,
can
sir.
have some our own, like those
Yes,
our
sir.
experts and our members are there. We can
Ji.
invite the technology, ready-made technology, what
Yes.
is there. So
Yes,
using
sir.
this platform, we can make a big that is the advertising agency that is, you look at this. Our experts in the that food academy, they are having
Yes.
these products, these are available, and these, so we can invite on that platform some leading industries as well. All right.
Hmm. Yes,
And
sir.
then we can showcase the technologies to the industry using this platform, and
Yes.
even through our website and all those things. That is a very good, excellent.
Yes, sir.
We will take up next activity like this.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that is a very broader activity, and that definitely can be taken up.
Yeah,
So
sure.
Mishra sir already is
Sir,
an expert in this area.
hello, sir.
Yes,
One more
yes.
question, sir. So,
Yes.
can our projects be funded, sir? Like, I'm in net UGC net. Qualified person, but can we go for fundings for the laboratory testing? Can you give us some ideas on that? Can our project be funded for the testing part? Because
Part of-
testing is expensive in India. Basically,
Yes,
you know that, sir.
yes. There
Yeah.
are even government agencies also. First thing, and even again that I told that angel investors are there. Many agencies are there. There is those. First, you have to prove that yes, your product is worthy. All right, and it is the industry. If any industry or angel investors, if they get interested into this, definitely they will get analyzed. They will get it. Or even you can write to the government of India, that is Ministry of Food Processing Industries. There are certain projects, provided your product convinces them that this has the potential. You can write a small, that is one page, a small project to them that I want to get it tested here, and for that I need a support. Particularly, you are a scholar, you are a student, so even government agencies, non-government agencies, they will, you can explore and you will definitely get funding. But only important requirement for this is that the product must be worthy, and it should convince the agency that is, if we are spending money here, we are spending 10 rupees, we will get 100 rupees return.
So one example I know, sir, of this. There are many examples. One example in which one of the institute developed through the fermentation process one ingredient that is an anti-hangover.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yes.
so one fermentation company brought it for 5 lakhs, but it worked. Now they're scaling it up. The product is somewhere around 30 to 40,000 rupees per kg. And now the institute, if they want to have the same technology, they're charging more than 50 lakhs.
Yes. In fact,
So that
there is
was the potential which the company brought in something. So there
one
are
boy,
certain things which any
like
institution can value.
a few days ago, one boy from that Hyderabad, he had some idea that they want to get this yeast extract, which is
Correct.
used in the bakery industry. They want to grow it for that as a, to use.
Correct, sir. And that ingredient, anti-hangover ingredient, was nothing but glutathione, sir.
Yeah.
So immediately
So,
after drinking, if you have, it will completely, and you'll have no hangover.
So they connected with me and they discussed. Nowadays, they have managed. In fact, in the turn of about I think 5 6 months, they connected. I connected them with some local institute there. Now they conducted a few experiment on fermentation, etc., to grow that
Correct, correct, sir.
characterization it. And with that, they applied to BIREC, and from where they already got some funding to scale it up. So that there
Correct,
are
sir.
ways. And nowadays, if you have some potential product or potential process, you will get money is not a concern. That has been my experience over there. But if you have a convincing product, convincing technology.
Correct.
So Ms. Deepa, if you are
Thank you, sir. Yes,
yes,
sir.
we can help you definitely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, any other? Dr. Khandelwal?
Yes, sir. I
Yes.
was going to ask, I thought I'll just say, first of all, Dr. Navneet, though I could join late because I was in another event, nice content, I must say. On behalf of some students, I thought I'll ask something. What is the current trend in food industry? Our students must do very good hands-on in terms of internship. If yes, how? Particularly in startups, and especially the segments what you mentioned, including plant proteins or otherwise energy food sector, which is coming so well. And cities like Mumbai, Bangalore, Gurgaon, it is now pet foods also rising very high. What are your insights on these, particularly for internship? Please tell, Dr. Navneet.
Internship in industries, ma'am, or was it?
Yeah. Startups and industries. Industries are not taking many. There are a lot of restrictions also. But do you recommend they should join startups for hands-on? Because lab is lab scale. The scalability matters a lot when it comes to their employment.
Correct.
From that regard, I wanted to understand. Please tell.
So maybe it's a very broader query, but I think I just could not understand your query. What was
Okay, I was
internship?
trying to ask you today's undergrad final year or master's
Huh,
students, what do you tell
huh.
them what is your point to make them upskilled in terms of hands-on
Okay, that's
and
fantastic.
not
Okay.
only enhancing their resume, but actually learning through startup internships or otherwise.
But
More
see,
large scale.
they interested to know how the students should contact the industry for their internship. Again,
I
nowadays,
think that's a fantastic. Majorly what I feel ki, I think they need a platform where uh, there is a consolidation of multiple startups in the area of food that are working on scale up technologies, and these interns, if they participate in their they support in their nature of work, because interns can come at a very early stage, and they in that way there is a both way learning. The startup gets the right resource for keep doing their work, and interns have an exposure of first hand in terms of how they are scaling up. So there are, I think, but I think, ma'am, we need a very specific platform where, see, most of the startups that I've seen is are working with multiple manufacturing partners who have the, let's say, ki I need a 1,000 liter or 2,000 liter spray dryer capacity, which is a
Right.
very cost intensive. So what I do is normally I work with, I lease that facility, or maybe I kind of work at their manufacturing capacity and do my job work over there. They're producing their products, but they're producing my products also. So we need an ecosystem where a lot of people are doing kind of associated with that. Within that system, if these interns go, scale up of technologies are done at the manufacturing site. So rather than going to the established companies where they have very narrow vision in terms of they won't expose what they do, they should go into a small scale industries which are kind of working with multiple startups in whatever domain of their interest. In that way, their internship can turn out to be, they'll have a lot of business ideas around it
Right.
that we have seen basically. I've seen many companies, let's say, for example, few companies are producing, after we take out the oil from the peanuts, so whatever peanut cake comes out, kind of, so they are purifying it to 90% of isolate or concentrate
Mm-hmm.
through the extraction technologies. But they are working with multiple manufacturing sites where the manufacturers are already producing soya protein isolate or other concentrate,
Yeah.
because the centrifugation or extraction or spray drying equipments are common for all those processes. In that way, if they do their internship in that kind of a platform, which is hardcore, basically process driven, in that way they will have a lot of understanding rather than working in some kind of a lab uh, where it's more of a documentation based, where they just part of the normal routine process. So they should, internship should always focus on something which is more expanding their views about. So I think I can share a few of the contacts in case they want to participate either in Nutra space or other space.
Yeah, please share
But
with Academy web. Yeah, we'll put it in website also. That's the most
yeah,
common.
yeah,
Vishwa sir, you will
we
agree.
can
This question we
keep
often
their
get
question on.
in fact,
from the even teacher, academia also.
So as very
So our
simple as
academy, we are trying to make it
any
robust at
state
this
will have
point.
industrial area. Yeah,
in
any
fact,
state will have industrial area well established. You'll have the directory of that industrial area basically. Then you can pick up a domain, and I know many industrial area in Ahmedabad where I regularly go and try to work out.
I
So I
see.
have some ideas where I want to scale up. So I go and visit those places, and I see their facility. I try to convince them, let's make this thing. If they're convinced, we try to do the first scale up studies directly at the factory itself. So those things happen at a regular level. So it's not something which is very difficult. Let's say somebody wants to design an engineering equipment. They need not think too much about how will I do it. They just need to go into some industrial area where there is an engineering hub, contact the owner and directly work with them. So many things can help them. But I would still assume that they should work at a hands-on level with the local industries, so that and build their network across time. So rather than bigger industries, they or tech-based companies are very different. If they have other ambitions, then that's a different segment in which we can support. But if you have some students who wants to do, let ma'am, I can
Dr.
support them.
Yes,
Very
Dr.
nice.
Pratima, Dr.
Sir,
Pratima, tell me that like in our institute IIT here, there is internship for BTech student as well as MTech student is compulsory. Now it's
right, sir.
now there are two ways approach also. That is one thing, that is there is a team of faculty who are helping students in this regard. So we can ask the student, they can ask their resume, etc. Even we tell the students also, we tell them these are the list of the industries in your area. Sometime even there are certain like NABARD, DBT, Ministry of
Right.
Food Processing, some companies like Tetra Pak, Mandali, etc., where we have contacts. They also write to them when they have any requirement for the internship, or we advise our student and our that is placement team. They send the CV of the student, that is these are the students available for the job, etc. And then companies they come here or they invite the student, they
Yeah.
conduct interview
Mm,
online, etc. So that
mm,
is the list. So here again, you know that is our academy can play a major role. There is suppose
mm.
institutions if the students are, because one of the major domain we have kept in this. So in addition to that, what Madhuri told, that we can now work on showcasing the technologies on this and then find out industry academia conclave on this platform. The other platform, the students, that is particularly those who are interested in doing internship, etc. If they can use our platform, our, and we can
Exactly.
guide and we can connect them with the suitable, like in the there were one or two students they wrote in the last that is I think month of April or May.
Yeah, this was discussed. So we
I
can build a
will
consortium also, sir.
uh,
I was, that's a consortium type we can build. We can be a connecting partner for that.
that is
Because
what
the
one
shop is
component in
very
our
different in
academy.
local colleges.
So
And there is,
wherever you are going to institutions and where you tell your student, those who are interested, they can write to us, and then definitely we can connect with them industries with whom it can be one platform to facilitate the internship of the students in both academic institutions as well as in the industry. Definitely,
so
it can
how
be.
Dr. Navneet mentioned, he can connect immediately with some. That's the we want that signal, sir. That's a great input.
Right.
No problem, ma'am. No problem.
Really nice. Thank you.
Anyone else who has any? So it was a very lively discussion and very lively session, excellent session done by Dr. Navneet. So if there are no any further questions, if any, please raise your hand. Otherwise, I will ask Arpan
Yes, sir.
to. So if there are no more questions, we can do the customary.
Okay, sir. So, on behalf of HNM Pro Academy, I would express sincere gratitude to Dr. Navneet sir for such an insightful session. And I would also thank each and everyone, every participant who has participated in this interactive session as well. Most importantly, I would thank all and hope to see you in the next upcoming session organized by HNM FoodPro Academy. Thank you all for joining. See you next time. Thank you.